Hello, Hillary.
Hi, Jenny. How are
How you
you?
doing? I'm okay. How are you?
I'm well.
Just Sunday night mayhem over here.
Here
Yeah,
too. It's like
yeah. But we
chaos.
had an exciting weekend here in Cleveland, and I can't wait to talk about it.
I can't wait for you to talk
Yeah,
about it. I
yeah,
feel like I was with you, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
yeah.
Today is Sunday, October 20th. If you're listening, it is on after Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. This is season 6, episode 41, and there are 13 days until the election.
Oh my goodness! And you're listening to Kissing Lips and Breaking Hearts and losing our freaking minds with the garden hearts.
We only have 2 episodes until the election.
Deep breaths. I think it's a good time to pour drinks.
Oh, I
I've
got mine right
expanded
here.
my basement bar.
You have?
Yes. First of all, my mug de jour. Abortion rights are my cup of tea.
Oh, awesome.
Planned Parenthood, it's a tea bag.
I love that.
And look what I brought. I'm slowly adding more whiskeys and bourbons down here. Tonight we have Brothers Bond,
Interesting.
courtesy of the Salvatore brothers of Vampire Diaries.
Oh, cool.
I mean, they drink a lot of bourbon and whiskey in that show because they're vampires. They're very old men and
Yeah,
very young bodies. But the actors that play the brothers made their own bourbon whiskey.
that's
And
very
I'm gonna
cool.
pour that, and I'm
I'm
just gonna
drinking
play bar.
screwball.
Oh, screwball! I was gonna do screwball, but I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna change things up a little bit tonight. And then I've got something else that you'll recognize: the vanilla whip shots.
Oh, I need to restock so
Is
bad.
yours whip shots brand? Oh, you're supposed to shake it upside down.
And then you're supposed to like
You need to
whack
beat
it,
it,
pat it, and hug it.
slap it, shake it, whip it. It sounds like sex ed. This is gonna be good. Okay.
Stuff is so good.
And you got screwball?
We're back to screwball.
Great. Well, L'chaim.
Look, I am
Slanch
slumped.
that hasn't mixed in.
Mm.
Okay.
I would like some
Um,
of that whipped cream
yeah.
on.
So you voted. I have now voted. So let us all know if you have voted. Just busted out my vote necklace.
Please vote.
Please, for the love of everything holy. If you're like overseas and didn't request a ballot, just get the fuck back over here. Get
Yeah,
it done.
really. If you want us to look up flights for you, I mean, we're not going to pay for it, but we'll look it up for you.
Oh yeah, and we'll even, if you want to give us your credit card, we'll book them for you too.
Absolutely.
We have excellent travel agents,
Yes.
especially when we don't have to pay for it.
Especially.
Yeah. So before we get in, we should know what'd you say? It's a year ago we were in Vegas?
You were.
Our first trip to Vegas.
Yeah. It
We
seems like
thought maybe our only trip to Vegas.
you thought. It seems like it was yesterday, but it was also like 20 years ago.
Yes, like I can't believe it wasn't like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, it feels like many, many years ago. I mean, the Eagles keep pushing them more and more dates because they're doing well.
Yeah.
They added more of the YouTube movie dates. So I guess that's going well. So
I am
well,
I'm so jealous of people that get to see that movie because it just looks so phenomenal.
it looks so cool.
I mean, it doesn't look cool enough to go there, but almost. It's really
Right.
close.
Like we have a friend that just messaged us the other day who lives in LA, and she asked if we wanted her to get her any merch because she was going to go see it. And I was like, if I was in LA, I would go see it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that was sweet of her.
Yeah.
Yes. Big exciting weekend here
Very big.
in the heart of rock and roll, Cleveland, Ohio.
Boom, boom,
It
boom, boom.
was Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction weekend. Since 2009, the inductions have been here in Cleveland every 3 years. Now it's going to be every 2 years, which is both very exciting and I am sure for people like our entire Amanda is very insanity inducing.
Yeah. But at
But
least
it
she
was,
gets to, work and sleep in her own bed.
yes, exactly. It's so big. On Friday afternoon, so if y'all have been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or I'm sure you've seen this, pictures and videos, or you could easily Google this. So in Cleveland, we have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum, which is telling the entire story of rock and roll and different parts of it at different time. And on one floor is dedicated to the inductees because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that does the inductees, that's actually the foundation. That's actually separate from the museum. But, we all work together. And I say we like I still work there.
Represent.
Why not? And there's like this huge wall dedicated to the inductees, and each year gets a plaque. And I feel like plaque is not the right word for it because it is glass etched with their signatures in like coppery gold kind of color. So it was Friday was an event where they dedicated the plaque, and a friend and I went because we do love the Dave Matthews Band, despite the fact that I haven't seen them in a long time. They're near and dear to my heart. So we knew that the DMBs were going to be there. And so it was tons of fun to see. And they were all there. Foreigner, turns out I'm a fan. Mary J. Blige, Peter Frampton, this other lady, I can't remember her name, but she discovered the Jackson 5. This lady's phenomenal.
Oh,
But she,
Pamela. No,
yeah,
Suzanne DeBarris.
there we go. She got the Ahmet Ertegun Award, which goes to an industry person as opposed to like a talent, like a artistically talented person, like music, a performer. There's the word I'm looking for. And she was there, and I forget who. Oh, some of Cool and the Cool and the Gang, the Cool and the Gang, like I'm my old grandma.
Cool. And then
The Cool and then the Gang.
yeah.
James J.T. Taylor, not to confuse with the other James Taylor, who was also around this weekend,
Yes.
who is the voice of Cool and the Gang, was there. It was so cool. It was really cool. And then that was Friday night. And then last night, Saturday, was the big ceremony. The thing was 6 hours long.
I believe. I mean,
Almost.
It was hard enough watching it from home, where I could eat cheese and go to the bathroom.
I mean, we got nosebleed seats. It was in our arena, like our basketball arena, and like where the U2s play when they come to town and they're not in the stadium. And seats were not cheap by any means, and it's not like there was one band we wanted. Like you can't be up close,
Right.
So it's like, are you going to pay $150 or am I going to pay much more? Like you might as well pay the lower price.
Right.
There's good screens. Those nosebleeds. First of all, there's no room. You're sitting for so long, my quads were like tightening up.
Oh my God.
I was like, next time we are splurging, we're getting better seats. Oh my God. But it was amazing. The talent there was phenomenal. And I love, so my husband and I were there, Garnett and Amanda and her husband were in a different section. And then Hillary was watching it live on Disney Plus last night. And so we were all like,
Yeah. Cher, oh my God, she was phenomenal. Cher.
I cried. I don't even care that much about, not that I do care and I respect her, but she's not someone I would have expected to get emotional about.
No, I agree with that.
Dua Lipa came out and she started singing and I knew Cher was coming and I was just like, silent tears. It was just like, oh my God.
I think the thing that regularly overwhelms me with the Rock Hall inductions is that just all those people come together and like respect each other, and like the vast amount of talent in that room is just mind-blowing. Like it's not you can't comprehend it.
It's like I have chills right now thinking about it. And it's just person after person after like, and even the people who aren't physically in Cleveland but provided testimonies about people for um like little like I call them like little education videos about the inductees, which I mean I learned so much from those. They do such a good job
Yeah.
at giving you so much information in such a little amount of time. That's really understandable. Like I didn't know anything about the MC5.
I know their name, and I know that people wear these T-shirts all the time that say MC5, and they're really cool shirts, but I don't know anything about them.
Yeah. It turns out I do know one of their songs, Kick Out the Jams,
Yeah.
but I had no idea about their influence or anything. And Tom Morello's speech about them, I was like, fuck, I should know who this band is.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, having Method Man and Dr. Dre and Mary J. Blige all stand next to each other, like,
I mean, that was, oh my
that's
god, I have chills now. That was just
amazing.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it
Ozzy
was
was inducted, and who else have we missed?
Ozzy. Well, and Ozzy had like, I mean, the guy from Tool sang. He had his it was amazing. Jelly Roll sang. And was there a third?
Kelly
Oh,
Clarkson, Lovato.
Kelly Clarkson and Demi Lovato, yeah. And he had like, was it Ozzy's like original guitar player or current guitar? Zach
They
Wild.
had a they had Wolfgang Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen's son play. Oh my god, that kid can play guitar. Like
And
there's no his lineage.
literally, they had two house drummers all night.
Wait,
Questlove
they did. And Chad Smith.
and Smith.
Yeah, I was mixing though Ozzy up with Foreigner, like
Foreigner.
who was
Foreigner.
singing.
Yeah, he was still
Foreigner.
there though. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was either Questlove or Chad Smith on the drums. I mean, like, come on.
Yep.
Kelly
I mean,
Clarkson. I mean,
he's that.
I cannot
Who
believe
did
that woman's voice live. What?
who did Roger Daltrey induct?
Peter Frampton.
Yes, he did. It was Peter
Because
Frampton.
they were twins.
Yeah, yeah. Peter
That
Frampton
was,
was amazing. He's not well, but he played guitar, like this fancy guitar with like 3 pickups and like
and like his
amazing.
voice box thing.
Yeah, he has that tube, and oh my god, that's
Freaking Keith
classic.
Urban was fucking ripping up that guitar.
Yep, yep. And the guitars last night were just mind blowing. I mean,
So,
I'm a sucker
and
for
the,
a good guitar, and there were so many good guitars up there.
and the fun they're having and the respect for each other and just the overall celebration is just like no one is showboating up there.
No, Dionne Warwick. So Jennifer Hudson sang with her, and I don't know why, but I just laugh when I see Jennifer Hudson sing because she always looks surprised. Like, who said that? Who sang that? Like, always. Like, she just has this look on her face. Like, I didn't know. Like, you should know.
One of my favorite moments of the night was when one of the guys from the Tribe Called Quest was like, "I'm sorry, Miss Dion. I'm sorry for my language." Like,
Well, I know. Like, it was just
oh
the
my
queen.
gosh, it was adorable. Jimmy Buffett, who had Dave Matthews, James Taylor, Kenny Chesney, and someone else I
I
didn't recognize.
I don't know who the other
And I
gentleman was,
saw
but
his name later and I
voice
wasn't
was
familiar
very
with
good.
him.
No, I don't know who he is, but his voice was very good.
Yeah. I mean, and
Yeah.
then Dave Matthews Band was the big closer,
Yeah.
which it was hard to know because you know it's going to be, they have a big dramatic opener and they save the big band for last. And then they like, mix it up in the middle so it really keeps the night going. They do such a great job with the layout.
So good.
And it could have easily been Ozzy or Dave Matthews or Mary
Yeah.
J last. Any of them could have been last.
I didn't even think like Cool in the Gang. I mean, anybody could have finished up, but it was
Yeah.
so perfect.
I
It
just feel like
was,
it's usually someone more current
yeah,
ish. Or like, I guess it's like, who are the fans that are here? I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know how they make
So
that decision, but
I'm not sure if I'm totally jealous or if I really feel this way, but I did not love Julia Roberts' induction speech. I felt like it should go to some like I feel like inductions should be made by peers.
right. It was interesting because I mean
Man,
she's a huge name. But like Zendaya was also not a peer
no, but I mean, she's somebody who's had in the
influence.
same
All right.
field and is clearly influenced by Cher. I mean, her dress alone was like mind blowing. Um,
I wonder
oh
how
my
that
god,
happens. And I
so
wonder if
Cher.
Clarence or Amanda has a little insight into this about how they start figuring out who's going to induct who.
Yeah.
Do they ask the inductees who they would prefer? Um, I'd be curious because maybe they wanted her. I don't know.
But I mean,
And they are
so
so about their fan base. I don't know. Yeah.
I thought that Jack Black did a great job. Um, I mean, great job, over the top, which Ozzy deserves.
Did you see
Um,
how quickly his face turned into a tomato? Could you tell on TV? Jack Black.
Black, no,
He got
he
so
turned it.
excited. He was like as red as my elevation poster right here. Like, wow.
I saw you. I saw you message that, but I don't think I noticed it until I
Yeah.
didn't look until
Interesting.
later.
Yeah.
But he did a great job. I still think I don't know. It should have been somebody from Metallica or something like that. Like I just feel like it should have been a like performer.
Right.
And,
Like,
and Dave Chappelle inducting a Tribe Called Quest. I mean, big fan, maybe friends. I don't know, but I always feel like it should be a
Dave Chappelle
performer.
did Jay-Z last time in Cleveland too. Um, it's
Really?
also, yeah, it's also like it is a product, you know?
Yeah.
Like I get what you're saying, but pulling big names that are big fans, I don't know. That
Well,
can
that's
put
what
on a
I
good
mean.
show for TV.
Yeah. I think my issue I do like fully admit that a good bit of my issue with Julia Roberts is that I'm just jealous because I would have loved to have had that job.
Fair play.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they're my band.
She's like such a famous fan. She can have access to them anytime.
Right, right. I don't know, but I saw them play at a fraternity party in Charlottesville and like I didn't know who they were, but it was a
Yeah.
house that people couldn't get out the front door. People were jumping out the window because there were so many people in there.
Yeah.
But I didn't know who they were at the time, but it was like a year later or something that someone was like, "Oh, hey, you were at that party." And I'm like, I mean, I remember a big band and I remember
Yeah.
people going crazy, but it was just kind of overwhelming. But I mean, you know, saw them we've seen them 10 if not more times, but not once since 2002.
When with me,
All Yes, that's the last time I saw them. All the other times I saw them were very early in their career.
I haven't seen them in many, 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 many years.
Yeah.
And I need to catch back up with some of their new music because here, my problem with them is that we've talked about this. I am a hit singles kind of girl. And I love their records, but their shows are not about the hit singles.
No.
Like, they played 3 Dave Matthews songs last night, and they were each about 60 seconds. And I was like, this has to be the hardest thing they've ever done.
Yeah.
And I'm also like, why didn't they
A
figure out how to
song
blend them? They should
that
have
can
blended
go
them
on,
together.
yeah, a song that can go on for an hour and they made it a minute.
I know. Like, I was like, and there were some DM people by me, and they were like, what? Like, what's happening?
But they played and I'm not the biggest fan of the single.
Right.
Um but they played a good variety. I don't like Too Much. I don't like that song, but it was a nice
Vertigo was playing
variety.
at this, yeah.
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 Um,
Well, like, and I mean, I don't need all their singles, but like their songs on their albums, they are produced contained products.
yeah.
And I like contained products.
Yes, I get it. I get it.
Maybe a
They
little extra here or there, but not an extra 12 minutes.
No, I get it. After they gave their acceptance speech and everything, they were the last act of the night. So they were like, "Oh, let's go back on and play some, like exit music." And they played "Burning Down the House" by the Talking Heads.
Dave said it was like the 40th anniversary.
Stop making sense.
Usually there's a big jam band with
Yeah.
everyone. Um, Last time in Cleveland, they didn't do the jam band. We heard A, because they ran over, and B, apparently everyone was too drunk to put it together. But this one, I guess, that was amazing. Like, that song was made so the Dave Matthews Band could cover it.
Yeah. And this is the other thing that, I mean, I've known this forever, but
Mhm.
it's like the most humble guy you could ever know. Like, he's so not designed to be a rock star.
No, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he doubted himself. He doubted himself about his speech. He doubted himself about his speech on Friday. He doubted himself about starting burning down the house. Like, it's endearing and humble and
yeah.
adorable.
It's he had a little on their Instagram page today. He had like a selfie video because he's like, I don't usually do this, but and I had this whole like poetically wonderful thing written to give this speech, and he went off the rails, and there was a story he wanted to tell that he didn't tell that night that he wanted to have on record, so he did it on Instagram. But he's like, and I feel like there's just a whole lot of imposter syndrome there, and maybe that's a problem in my own head, but like,
Oh,
I'm like,
adorable.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I also love that, and I think the bigger they've gotten, the more I've kind of forgotten about this. But like, I feel like another member of the band is Charlottesville.
yeah,
Like that's and
yeah,
that's I mean, he talked about Charlottesville, and I assume he hasn't lived in Charlottesville in 30 years or so.
yeah. I don't know, yeah,
I mean, I don't know, but I wouldn't think there's anything in Charlottesville for him
right,
at this point. I don't know this. Um, but it's still it's their origins,
yeah.
and it's one of my favorite places.
I've never been. We'll have to go sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was one proper U2 mention
Yes.
in the ceremony last night, and it was during Mary J. Blige's induction, and they were talking about how she has worked with everyone, and they were showing people that she had sang and stuff with, and so they showed a good bit of one when she sang
Yeah,
one, you too. There was
and
a it
Donna
was a
playing guitar.
yeah, yeah. But it was kind of like the backing music for a few things, and then they showed the band, and
Yeah,
that was fun.
it was fun. The only other YouTube reference all night was there was this, oh my god, so perfect commercial for the exhibit at the Rock Hall on 1984 by Lauper.
Yeah,
And they like showed up close of like Bono's signature on the induction plaque
yeah.
and the Trabants, and there was something else that was U2. I don't remember, but they got fair play in that ad.
And fair play to Garnet Amanda who curated that 1984 exhibit.
All like, you
Yeah.
know,
She's
she
like, Cindy Lauper did an ad for my thing.
gets all the credit for that.
I
YouTube
gotta
just
go.
fair play. She gets
Yeah.
full out acknowledgement.
We'll keep an eye out for Hulu will run an edited version of the induction ceremonies, I think after the new year.
I think it said it was December 31st.
Oh, okay. Or maybe at the new year.
Yeah.
I heard something about New Year.
Remember, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of U2 related content, I feel like that's a good
Yay!
segue. We have
We
some
have content.
things. We have some things. We're so excited. First of all, oh my gosh, Larry is alive.
He's alive and
Praise
well.
Jesus, hallelujah.
He's got good eyebrows and
Great eyebrows.
looks just fine.
He
He's got
looks
a like a wrap or a brace or something on his wrist, but
great.
otherwise he looks,
But he was also holding a microphone with that hand.
yeah. He looked fit and healthy,
Yeah.
which he hadn't done for a while.
Yeah. He was at, I think we decided it was the Woodstock Film Festival.
I believe so.
We didn't audit our notes.
Not fact check. We're just going by memory.
Yeah, he worked with another artist, another musician on the soundtrack. I think the opening song is what it said for a movie called Left Behind about growing up with dyslexia, I believe. There's
It's a
something.
documentary about a group of parents in New York, I believe, who had dyslexic children and who weren't finding public schools um, helpful with their
Yeah.
children's needs. So they started a school for kids that have dyslexia.
You know, 1,002% more than I do.
I just read the
But,
article.
but you still know 1,002% more than I do. I am just like, but you said that his son has dyslexia? Is
He
that
did
was his
this little question and answer thing. He was on a stage in a chair and everything. Someone was interviewing
a
him.
chair and everything?
Chair and everything. They didn't make him stand. Um, like he stands anyway. Like we've ever seen him stand.
He's always sitting, yeah.
Yeah. But he in the I just read a brief little description about it, and he said that his son, who is 29, has always struggled with dyslexia, which when you think about his son, he has all the resources in the world, and he said that at 29 he still struggles.
Yeah. My 14-year-old, we figured out like when she was 13 that she is dyslexic. And I'll tell you, without early intervention, there's not much for these kids.
Yeah.
Because I really think the early intervention is figuring out tools and strategies. And she kind of did that on her own. But now it's kind of like, we have to use our resources to find help for her.
Yeah.
Above what the school can do, because it's hard, man. Gotta be able to read to get through school.
Yeah.
When you can't see the words, it's a problem.
I think that most of us must just take that for granted that we don't have that, because I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine having those difficulties.
right. I mean, my daughter, when she looks at a page, words just start to disappear. And if a word's not there, she'll try and fill it in with context clues. And about half the time it's right, but the other half it's not. And that worked well in elementary school. And she got away with it in middle school. But high school it's not working.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to watch this. And I hope that she will watch it with me or watch it at some point because I need some help too.
They
So-
haven't released information about where it's going to be released, if it's going to be streamed or where. They haven't announced
okay.
that yet.
Okay.
I saw
Cool.
a few people post that it was going to be on Netflix, but the article very clearly says that has not been announced.
Okay. I got the impression from a few people's comments that they were readily going to watch it right away. So I just assumed I'd find it, but now I understand that that's not the case.
Yeah.
But yes, keep an eye out for Left Behind, um, featuring Larry on that opening song.
He's a producer.
Yeah, yeah, great that he's doing stuff. I don't know any other information on this, but I saw a headline that Adam's Ballroom Blitz show is looking for international distribution. So hopefully that means things are going well for him and he'll get some stuff. It's also been reported that over the year or so he's been doing contributing to some work with some other musicians. So I love to
That
hear them working with other people.
Ballroom Blitz sounds like it's like Irish show bands. Like in the
Okay.
70s, they were like a really big deal to have these. I think that's what it's called, a show band. And I saw a documentary about one of them who had like I think it was, they had like a gig in Belfast, and like the police like attacked their van and like killed them all or something.
What?
Yeah, it was horrible. They were like set up. It was some, I don't remember the whole story, but there's a documentary called yeah, it was, they were called the Miami Show Band, but they were Irish.
Huh.
And they had, it was like a massacre. They like, anyway, I think the documentary, I think it's on Netflix, and I think it's just called like Miami Show Band.
That's crazy.
But I think that's one of the ones in his like
Okay.
that he's talking about.
Just watch for that. I forgot to mention that Chuck D shared my story on Instagram.
That was so cool.
And James Taylor liked
Yeah.
mine. I was tagging them all last night. Okay. Back to our regularly scheduled program.
Well, and don't we have a new follower?
We do have a new follower on Instagram.
We
Mr.
do.
Mr. Gavin Friday.
Thank you for following, Gavin.
Welcome to the Garden Tart Party, Mr. Friday.
Yeah. We love you,
Yeah,
and
we really do.
we're glad to have you if you listen. And if you ever want to talk, hit us up.
He's got some new stuff coming out.
He does.
Lots of previews, lots of song previews he's been putting out. So I'm very excited about
You
that.
sent me a really good article about him.
Yeah, I need to actually need to read that still. But he does when it says that he has a song that's basically, is it like his version of Cedarwood Road?
It is.
About growing up with Bono and Googie and
Yeah, and he dedicates it to Bono and Googie and the Lipton Village.
cool.
Mhm.
I can't wait to hear his side of things.
Yeah,
Right.
the article said that which I mean, I don't think, if you know Gavin, if you know any of them from any of those guys from back then, um, they clearly like struggled with their sexuality, and I think probably a good part of youth in Dublin in the 70s probably had that same issue.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure everywhere, but Dublin's just so religious and
absolutely.
in doctrine and everything. He talks about that in this article, and it's and I obviously on the album, but it's just really fascinating because who cares? Like that's I
Right?
don't mean that. I don't I don't mean that like meanly. I mean I care about his struggle, but I don't care about his sexuality.
Right. Like that should be everyone's attitude.
Yeah.
We love you for who you are, or we hate you as a human being, but we don't care.
Right.
Like
I like
your
I was
sexuality is not part of the equation
right. I
of why I love or hate you.
I I don't know, but like I really that's where I stand with this. It's like be you, I don't care. But like I mean, I'm sympathetic. I just don't care. You
I know what
be
you mean. I
whoever.
know what you mean. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
There's this lady I follow on Instagram. She was on Jeopardy. Her name's Amy, and she's trans. And she has like a she posts basically every day. And like one day, we gotta remember which day it is. She says, I can't remember what it's called, but it's about being trans. And this week she was like, anybody can be trans. I don't care. Just like what are the
Right?
qualifications for being trans? I don't care. Anybody can be trans or not. It doesn't matter. But the way she said that was just like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She just said it in real
Exactly.
words.
I deal with this in my own life where like I'll see someone or have met someone or even like a celebrity and I'm like, what are they?
Yeah.
Right? And I have to remind myself it doesn't fucking matter.
I do it
And
all
it's
the
none of
time.
my business. And I'll Google, is so and so gay? Is so
Yeah.
and so non binary? And I'm like, Jenny, what are you doing? And the internet will provide no information. And I'm like, it's because it doesn't matter. That
Yeah.
I catch myself in my curious state.
It's
And it
absolutely,
is curiosity. I'm not looking for reasons to like dig at them or hate them or this, that, but I have to pull myself back.
yeah.
Well, I really think like my kids' generation, I don't think they think about it.
Yeah. I watched a lot of Jeopardy, and occasionally my parents will say like, "Is that a man or a woman?" And my answer is it doesn't matter. Like I
Right.
always say, it doesn't matter. Whatever they are, they're them.
We have just lived, and especially them, like think for 80 years they've lived in a binary world
Yes.
where that is how things are defined. And it is so hard to break that.
It is, and I understand.
Even just because your brain wants to like put someone just to classify.
Right. I mean, I say it all the time. Like, no, I don't understand that. It's not for me to understand. It's for me to accept. I don't understand
Yes.
it at all. But
I say that to my mom all the time. She's like, I just want to understand. And I'm like, you have to let go of that.
yeah, I don't understand.
You have to let go.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom and I, we took, my mom is like 75. And she's very progressive and it's very openly talks about how she cannot wrap her brain around this. Her brain does not function in a non binary world. Like, and she wants to ask all the questions. And when I tell her the answer to your question is it is none of your business, she's like, she has like a malfunction in her brain. And I get that. Like you can hear her, but I was like, Mom, just imagine like you're attracted to dudes, right? She's married to a guy, my dad, whatever. I'm like, what if someone said to you, it doesn't matter, you're only allowed to like women? And she's like, well, that's not how things are. I'm like, exactly.
Right.
Like, but it is for people who are not heterosexual. It is that way.
Right.
And she's like, oh, that's too much. Like, that's just big. It's like
Yeah.
mind blowing. But
No, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand any level of it, but I'm compassionate and accepting. So
I hate the whole thing was like, well, how do kids know when they're in kindergarten that they're gay? I'm like, did you have a crush on someone in your class when you were in kindergarten? Well, yeah, my name's Annie and I had a crush on Johnny. I was like,
you know,
exactly. You knew.
yep.
They can't handle the truth.
No, I had this conversation, which this works on so many levels. But years and years ago, I had this conversation with my cousin, who at the time was living in California, and I went to Ireland, and then I came back and I went out to California for it was my 30th birthday around ish.
Mhm.
And between when I left for Ireland and when I got back from California, my cousin, another cousin, got engaged and got married like 2 days after I got back.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the heck? Like, how do you? I was so judgmental, and I'm just like, how the hell can you do that? My cousin in California, she said, you know, when you date a guy and you know right away that it's not going to work? And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, it can work the other way too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I respect that.
Yeah.
So
Again,
that's
not your problem. It's not your problem.
no, I don't have to understand it. I accepted it.
Yes. Yes. Goodness.
Yeah,
I think that's a good segue into some more U2 stuff.
always.
There's
Always
a
you anyway.
making of the Vertigo video, which I've watched half of.
I totally failed to do my homework.
Me too. But there's it's interesting because it's about making of the video, but they actually have some little interview clips with the band about the album in general. And I made some funny little notes. One is from our man Bono. The measure of an album is how many songs do you want to play live? Right now, there isn't one I want to leave out. We're going to have to mix them up over the nights.
Interesting.
It's like they mix things up. That made me laugh.
Did they play everything off of? Hold on. I don't know if they ever play. We'll get to this soon on our album app, but I'm not sure that they played Crumbs from Your Table or One Step Closer, but they played every single other song on that album.
Really?
Yeah. That's
Interesting.
impressive because that's not the norm by any means. And
I feel like they might have played those.
I think it's very likely that they did, but I don't know. I
Yeah, we'll
haven't.
look that up.
That's just at first glance.
Anyway, I felt like that was really idealistic of him thinking to change it up over the
Right.
nights.
I thought you were gonna say they're none that I want to play live, and I'm like, really? Because there's some good live songs on that.
Yeah, right. And then Larry is quoted saying, and he attributes to Bono for this quote, that's saying you need 11 good reasons to leave the family and home. And he's like, this is it. And then B is, Bono's so cute. He says, I have to get it exactly. He says that he likes waking up in a different city all the time. And he's like, our audience, I just like being in their company.
Aww.
Which I thought was really cute, but also we are his biggest fans. The collective we, and I imagine being in our company feels pretty fucking good.
Yeah. I like our company, so
I like our company too. But yeah. But he's like, he was trying, like, in our audience, like, I just really like their company. Like, he couldn't put words to it. It was really cute. I got to go back and watch the rest of it because it's fun. That's a cool video. And just like, we finally got them to record someplace warm and we got rain. Duran Duran's got Ladies on a Boat. Like, we got a sandstorm and rain. It's cute.
It's really cute.
It's cute. And then we have 2 new song previews from How to Reassemble an Atomic Bomb. That yeah, interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah. They're on YouTube. The first one, Happiness. So these are from the Shadow album. Oh my gosh, yo. So Hillary and I listened to these together. So it's fun to watch each other's faces.
I know our faces were like watching your face. They were funny. I wish we had recorded that.
Yeah. I cannot wait to hear more of Happiness.
Yeah.
I can't wait. And that is a sample. That is like the tetra of sampling. It is fantastic. What did we decide was in it? Franz Ferdinand.
And Gorillas. Like, it is
Gorillas.
so Clint Eastwood.
Yes, it is so. What'd you say? Like the cadence and like the melody of that,
Yeah.
and then the Franz Ferdinand bass line. Isn't it? I mean, it is. It's. They're not hiding it.
No, not hiding it at all.
Like, and maybe it's not on the album because they didn't want to pay them.
Well, maybe it was like an exchange thing because Gorillas have that song that sounds like Staring at the Sun.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah.
I'll show you yours if you show me mine, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when Bono sings Happiness, the only words that should follow are "is a warm gun."
I mean,
But
he's almost there. He's like, happiness.
Yes.
And then I don't know what the rest of
many other things.
But I mean, I really was thinking he was going to go into Warm Gun.
It is absolutely a Beatles tribute in that moment.
Yeah.
So I really like.
It's got a good groove and it's a fun song.
And there's a moment in it. I mean, it's just a minute. It's just 60 seconds of it. There's a moment of it where there's many voices, which to me is very No Line on the Horizon.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, yeah, I'll be interested to hear more of it.
Yeah.
It's
I'm excited about that song.
Like cool beat like Breathe has, but it's not, I don't know. I can't wait to hear more. And then Luckiest Man in the World, which sounds like a U2 song.
Yeah.
And I mean, in a great way.
It does.
So.
It's in a very dated way because it sounds like Bono's struggling with his voice a little.
Yeah.
He moved far beyond that by the time he got to Songs of Innocence.
Yes.
He worked all that out by 360.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I'm excited to hear more of this Shadow album.
Yeah.
Very excited.
That song Happiness sounds like a single. Like,
that. Yeah.
Full on, like, I'm surprised that didn't make an earlier cut somewhere.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear more of it because that sounds like it sounds like it could be a first single.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no Vertigo.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some pretty big competition on that album. It makes sense that it was hard to get to the final 11 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should also just real quick just mention Liam Payne.
Yes, definitely. I'm so shaken by the news of his death. And I was out to dinner and was it a text from you or Garden Tart Amanda? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Amanda, but I was just like, oh my God. Like, I mean, they're kind of, One Direction's always been like my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Like, I don't say that, but I like them.
Yeah. I mean, they're radio singles I knew well, but I don't know most of the rest well, but they, it's just too young, too soon, like
Definitely.
When I think about the boy bands of our time, like the New Kids on the Blocks and that and this and that, to lose someone like that.
Yeah. that he had his whole future ahead of him, and
He's 31, maybe
30, maybe.
in his 30s. He's in his 30s, I think.
I think so. I don't know.
But he had a wife and a kid, and there's video. I didn't vet this, but there's apparently video of him meeting fans earlier that day, like outside the hotel and stuff. I don't know
So
what happened, but
tragic.
love to his family, love to his fans,
Yeah.
love to his former bandmates, and
But also, I mean, whatever happened to him, it seems like there was mental health or drugs and alcohol involved somehow. And just if you have any problems, you gotta get help. Like,
yeah,
it's just heartbreaking.
it is. It's so heartbreaking, and
Like, we want everybody to keep their mental health in check, and
life is hard,
it
or
is hard.
life fucking hard. So, yes, if you need resources, we can help you find them.
Yeah. Well, we
Absolutely.
won't. I mean, we won't tell anybody.
Oh
Like, we're
God,
happy,
no.
you
We've
know.
all been through our own stuff. We
Oh
we're
hell yeah,
we're pretty good
yeah. It
at
was
keeping things quiet. Yeah.
it was in the in memory part last night at the Rock Hall inductions. It just kind of hit me in the face again. It was just
Yeah.
like there are all these people up there that are, in
Old.
old in their 80s and 90s. I mean, I think the majority of people up there had to have been in their 80s and 90s.
Right.
With Liam Payne, and it just jumped off the screen at me.
Yeah. It's really hard.
Yeah,
And also remember that what happened to him is none of your business.
yeah,
So, if the family or whoever releases an official news believe that, otherwise, it's not our business.
it's not.
Yeah.
And I mean, just because it's a celebrity, they don't owe us anything. They don't.
No.
They're private
Their family
individuals.
doesn't owe us anything either.
Yeah,
This is their struggle. It's everyone. I mean, when you have fans, it's huge. Like, I'm not negating the heartbreak and the grief of the fans in the music community by any means at all. But if what they choose to keep private is important.
yep.
Yeah.
So
So on that note,
I did watch. I was going to talk about it, and then I didn't prepare anything. But I did watch Bono's induction speech for Bruce Springsteen earlier today. I was going to watch the Bob Marley one too, but
yeah.
man, he can give a speech.
Oh my God.
And like
You used to give Bono induction speeches.
I want to. Like that's what I said. I I texted Jenny and Amanda last night and I'm like step 1, step 2, step 3, induct someone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I just don't know what step 1 and step
And
2
you
are.
said you're going to use note cards.
I wouldn't rely on the
There were a good handful of note cards last night.
yeah.
Well, yeah, the teleprompter person, I think, had a hard time last night a little bit. And I probably guesses that it was not the teleprompter person's fault.
No, I don't think it was.
I think the readers are probably a little off.
Yeah. Well, that was something that I observed in Bono's induction speech for Springsteen was he definitely had a few before he went on that stage.
Oh, yes.
And he talked about meeting Springsteen once and he didn't say anything to him. And then he realized he was drunk as a skunk, pissed as a fart. Those are his exact words. And I'm like, you are.
You're pissed as a fart. But he kept his shit together.
Yeah, he did. But clearly, and I just thought this was so adorable, he had lines, I guess, that he had written that were part of the speech that he was like super proud of because he'd say it and then he'd look at the audience and be like, ha.
This is your cue.
Yeah. Like, did you hear it? Did you hear it?
I wrote that myself. God.
Yeah, but anyway, I you gotta watch that. That's just it's on everywhere. Just Google it.
So good.
It was also really sad because like they panned the crowd a lot. Like they did it way more back then than they did like last night. And like there's so many people that were there that night that are gone. Like
Yeah.
it just broke my heart. I'm like, oh my god, dead, 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 dead.
Yeah. Well, that would have been what year?
I think it was like 99 maybe. That's just
That
my
Bruce
guess.
conducted. Yeah.
I don't really feel like looking it up. I think it was
Me
99.
neither, but it was definitely while I worked there. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great speech. And I mean, I think the one about Bob Marley might even be better, but I just didn't have time to watch it today.
The one about Bruce, I mean, that's I mean, it's brilliant. Every line is brilliant and it's so well done. The one with Bob Marley, I mean, that's like
Poetry.
that's some fucking full circle planning right there. Like the whole thing is just to get to the end. I gotta go watch this again.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I have the induction speech you wrote for me printed out somewhere.
I kind of
From
don't
my
want to hear it.
rawcall.org email.
That's
It's
funny.
great. I mean,
I think
it's
I did
just right
one
now.
for our friend Tony too, but I don't know where any of that would be. But
Yeah. In some old Gmail, some old AOL somewhere.
yeah,
Hillary Janet AOL.com.
it was actually that wasn't it.
It wasn't Hillary Jan. Was it HJ Frank? Were you H Frank? Hillary F. Hillary F at AOL. As I was saying them and picturing them, I knew they weren't right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
when you know you're friends for a long time, when you've had like 10 email addresses.
It's true.
Pre-email. That's what we are. We're pre-email friends.
My 14-year-old Sadie asked, she's like, remind me, how did you and Hillary meet? I was like, we met online. And she's like, oh, like what? And I was like, it was an old program called Prodigy. And she's like, oh, I love Prodigy. And that's a math game program they use at school.
Oh my gosh. That's so funny.
Like, I think it means like, because you're smart.
Oh.
I'm like, no, honey, I don't even want to explain it to you. You will not comprehend the concept.
No.
No, of this like
I barely comprehended it, and I was on
this
it.
Like enclosed internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An app specific. We didn't even have the word app. I think it was a program. It was a program specific.
It was a program. Yeah.
Exchange. Yeah.
Like America Online was a program. I mean, you had to install it. You had to get the CD or the disc and install it.
I mean, when I got it, it was DOS. It wasn't even Windows.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Prodigy was DOS. Yeah.
They changed it over at some point, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We're old.
You're experienced.
We are.
Yeah. Julia Louise-Dreyfus says, listen to old women. And she's not even talking about us. We're not that old.
No, we're not that old.
But the older we get, the better we are.
The wiser we are.
We should probably officially sign off this.
You should definitely.
Lily wants to help us say goodbye.
Hi.
Say cats for Kamala.
Don't eat her.
She doesn't care enough. She's like, I'm too cool for this. Okay, y'all.
Have a good week.
Yep. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.
Cats. We'll be back next week with more You2ish content.
In the meantime, keep chatting with us on social media at _Garden Tarts.
Sign up for our newsletter at thegardentarts.com and share with your YouTube friends.
You can support us on Patreon, buy me a coffee, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Kissing Lips and Breaking Hearts, a YouTube's podcast with the Garden Tarts, is created, produced, and edited by us, the Garden Tarts.
Intro and outro music by December.
See you next week.